Welcome to the RotoWire DFS show. I'm Adam Zdroik, joined by poker pro Jordan Cooper and aspiring poker pro Ryan Belongia. Welcome in. We were just talking about poker before the show, but Jordan, the question I have for you before we get into Saturday's slate, how much of an effect do you think the Malta, them kicking out Ireland, Germany, Malta, I think Austria was the fourth country, how big of an effect do you think that has on DFS soccer for DraftKings?
It just means red code probably has to move somewhere else.
Okay.
I mean, like other than that, right? I mean, it's still allowed in the UK. I don't think it's going to make that big of a hit. I mean, most of the DraftKings audience is American or North American based anyway. I mean, yeah. Is it something I want to see? No, but I mean, they've entered some of these European countries and just poor marketing, poor strategic direction as far as gaining market share in a market that sports betting is already well mature. It's not like it was going well there anyway. So I don't know.
Were any of the
affect anything?
Yeah, were any of the top players playing from one of those places? Do we know, like the top soccer guys? I think Jesus Runner was. I'm not positive, but I feel like he was. He's been crushing this year. But yeah, I wonder if it's going to affect soccer at all.
Well, looking at, I think it was today's showdown, they posted some bigger than normal contests for the Bundesliga showdown. I think it's Bayern Munich against Leipzig, and there's some pretty big like cash contests for that one. Maybe a mistake. We'll see what happens. But this slate, Saturday's 4-gamer, we have.
Oh, sorry. Just to add to that. No,
go for it.
Sorry. I randomly checked the interleague slate today, and yeah, I couldn't believe like the cash contests were way too big. It just like stuck out. I said it had to have been a mistake. At least some of them. I was just like, what? That's not going to fill. But yeah.
At least DraftKings are making that mistake. If you can't even go on the FanDuel desktop site and do anything anymore.
Yeah, I mean the main 1K to first Bundesliga showdown is pretty much full right now. 2 hours to go before kickoff. But the main single entry $5 double up, 28 out of 172, and then 23 out of 114. So
those are bigger than the EPL ones.
Yeah,
yeah.
So gotta be a mistake. Pretty much the same numbers for interleague. So probably the same people playing interleague that are playing this Bundesliga showdown. But actually, are those cash games bigger than what we have for Saturday? Because
one of them is
typically the biggest single entry double up is like 45 guys, like or 85 or something like that.
Yeah, I think there's a $5 with like 114 and a $10 with 80 some.
So, someone messed something up, but I guess we don't even have to talk about cash games now. But this is Jack saying the Liga MX slate, maybe it's a showdown, has 172 for a $5 single entry double up. So that's bigger than what is happening on this 4-game slate. So whatever that means. So this is a slate that it's a Jordan favorite. We have no massive favorites. I feel like this is another time. We talked about it last week. We have West Ham as the biggest favorite, 1.62 implied goal total. Brighton, second biggest favorite, away to Leicester, they're 1.61. So what are we doing here? Do we look at Orsic here for Southampton, or are we doing something else? Actually, I had a question here. So Danny Ings transferred today, and he's still listed at Aston Villa. If he starts for West Ham, which I think is possible over Antonio, would he be in here as a green check mark if he starts for West Ham, even though he's listed under Aston Villa?
From a technical standpoint, from my experience, his points would not count because his player is still listed as Aston Villa. They will put up a banner,
right?
Either saying that or not saying that. But remember, it's soccer DFS for DraftKings. The janitor is in charge of this, so like who knows if that happens. So in the past, we've seen in NFL where a guy like transfer squads because typically he's a backup and they have him listed for the Bears and now he's on the Falcons and then he's still listed on the Bears. Like even in those scenarios, they typically even put up a banner, but that's NFL.
Right.
But from what I've seen in the past, if he's not listed on the right team, he's not going to score points.
Okay. All right. I mean, it's not like we're playing him anyways. He's what, 8,300. So there's that. But to cash games, I guess we can talk about cash games. Maybe they'll add some more contests. Probably not. We got Jared Bowen, 8,600. Morgan Gibbs White came through last week, 9,400. Pascal Gross, 9,100. Are those the three top forwards here, at least for cash games?
I mean, you have to say so. The thing about the forward position on this slate, I don't see many punts. I mean, I really don't see. I mean, it depends on who's starting, and for like Southampton, maybe there's a punt somewhere. But even kind of some of the puntier players are not that punty. So, based on lineup construction, I think in the midfield, in the midfield spot alone, there's maybe only one player maybe worth paying up for. I mean, I'm not all that enamored about jamming in, like doing the dinky do at forward just to fit in like kind of overpriced midfielders. So my natural inclination is, I think that I think there are four top options, and I think two of them have like negative marks on them, and two of them I think are fairly priced. So like if I had to choose, I want to play Gibbs White and Bowen, right? It's just like guys that play 90 minutes. Gibbs White is a majority set piece taker for Nottingham Forest. Bowen is on the biggest favorite against Everton's defense. Going to play 90 minutes. He split set pieces with Cresswell. Fine. I'm never a big fan of Pascal Gross playing as like a fullback-ish, wingback-ish type of position at 9,100 in a forward spot. But he does take a near monopoly of corners. He may not take the penalties. So, like, he's fine. Like if I had to use him, I'd use him. And then you have, like, underneath that, like, for a little bit cheaper is Jaden Anthony at 7,500. And I like Anthony. I think at home, it's a pick-em matchup against Nottingham Forest. The problem is that Anthony probably doesn't play 90. So, like, while he'll be on a majority, I would say probably 60, 70% of Bournemouth set pieces, and playing on the wing and having peripheral open play value, does 75 minutes of Anthony pay off the $7,500 price tag? Is it worth going down in order to squeeze in an extra? This may be the type of slate where you may be total punting in one defender's, like you just like total, like finding the lowest green check mark type of punt at one defender spot. So maybe you don't have to make that sacrifice. And I think, to me, if I had to choose, what makes my heart and my tummy feel like all safe and secure is that I'll play Gibbs White and Bowen.
Yeah. I'd like to play, I think Bowen would be the first guy in for me, just price and matchup. And then, yeah, I'd like to play Gibbs White. There aren't many punts. I think it makes that Southampton lineup a little important because I know we have Adam Armstrong in there. He's like 3,600. And yeah, that would let you make a totally different construction. I think I'd be fine playing Armstrong. I mean, we're going to want to pay 10-3 for Ward-Prowse at midfield. Then I think
Samuel Edozie is 5,500, so I don't consider him to really be a punt.
No, me either. And like you said, the punts are not good either. Yeah, so like Armstrong would be cheap enough to me where it'd be fine because it would let you play the three midfielders you want and spend up twice at defender too if you want to. So I think like you could make up for the difference between Armstrong and Gibbs White. You could make that up with the other positions. But yeah, if not, then totally different construction with Gibbs White and Bowen as the two forwards.
As we're talking, Jordan mentioned Jaden Anthony. You mentioned maybe not full 90, but I think it was last week we saw both Ryan Christie and Jaden Anthony start. Tavernier still out, and Lewis Cook is out as well. So there's another guy that's out. Maybe Ben Pearson starts. It doesn't really matter for this situation, but that's just another guy gone for Bournemouth to where maybe 90 is more likely for these guys on the wing. Wouldn't we rather play Christie at 5,500 than spending 2K more on Anthony if both those guys start? Like, what's the point of playing Anthony when you can just save 2K and Christie? I know it's for, forward.
Right. Well, that's
midfield.
the only reason. It's forward eligible. But I mean,
It just doesn't feel right,
does
though.
Christie play 90? Christie doesn't play 90 either. So, but
he
of course,
did last
he's 2K
game.
keeper. Right. Yeah. Yes, in a midfield spot, I get it, but it's more of the forward eligibility of if you're struggling to fill a second forward spot after Bowen, like getting 7,500 for Anthony is 1,900 cheaper than Gibbs White and 1,600 cheaper than Gross, and then you go underneath and it's like these punts down here are like total. These are the GPP plays, like Che Adams at 6,200. Or Adozie at 5,500, or then you have like Kiefer Moore at 5K, Calvert-Lewin at 4,800. I mean, these guys have like no. It's like, do they score a goal or do they get you a point? I don't really want to punt with those types of. Adam Armstrong at least has somewhat of a floor, but even then, but he's 3,600. It's like it's not 5K level, so like I don't mind that because really, are you going to play Adam Armstrong or Adam Lallana? Like it comes down to like because they're the same exact price. And if you could fill a forward spot with one so you could jam in a higher price midfielder, that may be worth it more than double forward expensive and then not playing James Ward-Prowse.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think punting Armstrong would be worth it just so you don't have to punt the other positions. I don't know, Anthony, I guess Anthony's fine. Seems a little expensive for my liking, to be honest. I mean, Bournemouth aren't very good. His outcomes are inconsistent, like 7,500. I don't know. Look, he's been 4.9, 4.9, 4.4, 5K. I mean, now all of a sudden he's 7,500. I mean, I don't love that. I'd play Christie. I think Christie is a fine play if he starts.
So Ben Rama moved for tournaments, 10.2K. Most expensive forward.
I'm okay with it. I guess I don't know. Do you think that anyone like makes Ward-Prowse lineups, but then just uses Ben Rama because they're the same price? Like even like any percentage of people? No.
I don't necessarily.
That's the only thing.
So.
That turns me off a little. I figure like a few people might do something like that, but
you're saying people who have Ward-Prowse in certain lineups and then have another lineup, they'll just swap in Ben Rama for a second.
Maybe they're the same price. I mean, I do that stuff all the time, and like if other people do that, then I don't really want to play Ben Rama. I'd want to play Ben Rama if no one else is going to play him.
Well, I mean, he'll be low owned. I mean, I think Antonio will be higher owned than him.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So much cheaper. I mean, really the guy in West Ham that I'm looking to play would look to play in GPP is Paqueta.
Danny Ings?
Definitely.
Oh, no.
Right.
Okay.
Well, if Ings is in, Antonio isn't. So, I mean, like, they're probably not playing together.
No. I that still doesn't help, I'd say, for Antonio, just in terms of playing 90 minutes. But, yeah, I mean, cash games, it's like there's a couple guys in the high end, and you have to decide if you want to dinky on down to the bottom with if Armstrong starts, or if Armstrong doesn't start, would you even feel comfortable going down to anyone else here? I mean, it's pretty much a wasteland here. DCL and Kiefer Moore are guess the next guys that could start.
Yeah, for cash, I assume you're saying DCL or Kiefer Moore. I mean,
I guess Kiefer Moore probably.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if especially if Solanke like isn't in the squad, then he'd probably go 90. I guess it's not the worst, but I think I'd probably use a different construction rather than do that.
Yeah, because I don't think. I just want to highlight. I mean, we'll get to midfield. I don't think James Ward-Prowse is like a must. I'd like to have him, but I don't think he's a must.
I can't fade him.
Oh, okay. So you don't agree with me?
I don't think I agree anymore. Not with him like playing attacking midfield recently.
Yeah, you saw that quote that he came out with.
I saw that quote too, and I mean, James Ward, like he smashed me last week. Look, 5 shots, 2 goals. I mean, more shots assisted, more shots. I mean, you'd assume both those stats will increase if Ward-Prowse is playing in that position. I mean, if you see him starting and also Lavia's starting and Diallo or whoever else, they just got another defense midfielder, Carlos Alcaraz. I mean, it looks like they're moving towards Ward-Prowse being an attacking player. So I mean, on this slate, I think it's a priority. I'd sacrifice other places to get him.
Back to your key for more part, I will point out that Bournemouth did add Dango Utara from Lorient. So if he's on the bench, I mean, he's fit. He was playing for Lorient. So that is a guy who could come on at forward for Kiefer Moore. So it's not like a guaranteed 90. But yeah, I guess so. Let's look at the top guys, including, I guess it doesn't really make sense to include JWP with the forwards here. Well, maybe we can. Who do you want to spend up on? So let's just compare them. MGW, Morgan Gibbs White. We got Jared Bowen. We got JWP. So we got those three guys. If you can only have two of those guys, or are your lineups all three of those guys?
I don't think you can make a lineup with all three of them.
Okay.
I mean, you can. You just have to punt. You have to.
There's just
multiple.
punts, right? So
I mean, I think it's no. Go ahead.
I think it's Bowen 1, Ward-Prowse 2, Gibbs White 3.
Yeah, definitely.
But I mean, obviously, we have a positional issue with
right. Okay.
Ward-Prowse being a midfielder and Gibbs White and Bowen being both midfield and forward eligible.
So based off what Ryan's saying, JWP is a priority. That means you're not actually looking at Morgan Gibbs White, correct?
No, I say
I'm saying for Ryan, because Ryan's talking JWP here.
For me. Yeah, it looks like unless we were to get some type of value unexpected at defender or midfield. Yeah, because it's tough to afford Bowen, Gibbs White, and Ward-Prowse. You might be able to, but yeah, I might leave Gibbs White out. I mean, it doesn't seem like he's 9,400. His highest price of the season and on the road. I mean, then you have these other two guys. I know Ward-Prowse is expensive, but Bowen's cheaper at home. At least a better matchup on paper, or at least an equal matchup. I don't know. Yeah, I like Gibbs White, but I'd be willing to leave him out.
So Jordan, if JWP is not a priority for you, you were mentioning spending down at midfield because you're favoring Bowen and Gibbs White. So I guess that means Gray is out of the conversation as well. I mean, Gray is pretty expensive here, 8,800 at West Ham. It's pretty penny for him. All these Brighton guys are also very expensive. They've been rolling, but they're also pretty expensive. Scarpa seems like he's out of the conversation without set pieces at 7,100. So we're kind of going down. We're going down the list. Is your first midfielder Mark Albrighton, or am I mistaken here? 5,700.
Why not? And Albrighton we trust. Look what happened last week, right? By 24 minutes in, he already has 10 crosses. I mean, like the guy, that's all he does. All right, he's on the monopoly set pieces. He may not play 90, right? They're at home against Brighton. If they go down by a goal, then here comes 700 Mark Albrighton crosses. I mean, 5,700. I mean, if they line up the same way they did last week, like why wouldn't? I mean, to me that's a cash. Like 5,700 is fine. I mean, yeah, he was 1,500 cheaper last week or so. But can I get 10 points for 5,700? I think so.
Since he's 50-50 to start, who's your next option if he doesn't start?
I mean, the pricing on the slate, I mean, some of these guys like Douglas Luiz at 5,900 seems a little bit overpriced, but I mean, I could run with that. If Albrighton doesn't start, I mean, maybe Dewsbury Hall's there, and he's 5,300. Tielemans is 6,000. I mean, I'm not excited about these guys. Declan Rice, 4,900. I mean, you could play a lot of these guys. But if you go all the way down,
no, I think
problem.
Christie.
I mean, yeah, well, we mentioned Christie, but I'm just saying, if you need to go all the way down, like, I don't mind guys like Moises Caicedo at 4,400, Ramsey at 4,200, El Niasi at 4,000, Lerma at 3,900, Lallana at 3,600. I mean, we got. You need to. I like these guys better than the defenders in that range. So, like, I think there are more midfielders to play on the slate than any other position. So,
I mean, yeah, we just glossed over absolute world beater Solly March, 8,500.
I mean, I mentioned the Brighton guys, but 8,500.
Are you really going to pay 8,500 for Solly March?
I mean, maybe if you play Armstrong, you could, but in tournaments, you could. I mean, okay, just I can't really argue.
I'm talking about cash games, Ryan.
Cash games, yeah, okay, all Brighton. So I can't really argue about all Brighton. I mean, he is more expensive now, and he does. Last week it was Nottingham Forest. This week it's Brighton. I saw a comment we got at the start. I kind of like Brighton here. They've been on fire recently. I mean,
I think everyone does.
Yeah, I think I mean, it's almost an understatement. I mean, Brighton's probably the fourth best team in the league. All Brighton, yeah, 5,700 is still a good price, though. I mean, he's still going to cross, but I don't think it's like a great spot, and he probably gets subbed early. Yeah, I don't know. Jefferson Lerma, I'm still embarrassed that I had to bring him up the other week. I see Jack mentioned him in the chat. Can't do that.
So what if we get this Leicester lineup is kind of tricky because Maddison will be available. It just doesn't seem like he's going to start, but he probably will come off the bench. So, I mean, that kind of takes away, I don't know, the final 20 minutes or whatever for set pieces for whoever is in there. It seems like Iose Perez isn't ready to return, but maybe he is. We'll see. But it seems like Dewsbury Hall is most likely to come in there, and he'd probably come in for all Brighton. But again, I mean, this is a situation we don't really know. So do we, like, how confident are we in really any of these Leicester guys? I mean, it's 5,700, Tielemans 6,000. I mean, it's not even like they're cheap though. Sitting here, like I still almost rather consider Ryan Christie over the Leicester guys because I mean, you at least know that there's not like a James Maddison waiting to come on kind of thing for Bournemouth, and it's a better matchup.
What's that meme that I've seen a meme? It's a little girl. It's this little girl that like, why not both, right? Why not both, right? What's wrong?
Yeah.
Why can't play Christie and Albright?
Maybe.
Yeah,
don't have to worry about making a choice. Just play them both. Plug them in.
That's what I have at the moment. It'd be like the easiest cash lineup in history. Bowen, Armstrong, JWP, Albrighton, Cresswell, Soufal, Fabianski, Christie. Good game.
Are you cheating off of me?
Maybe.
Wait, he said JWP, but Jordan, you said you're not on JWP.
No, I mean, it's one of the two construction. If you go to Gibbs White, you're going to have to punt to the defender spot. I mean, like, it's essentially a 3v3 off of that lineup. But, I mean, that's if Armstrong's in. But I have to make a lineup that, well, what happens if Armstrong's out? Well, and now maybe JWP isn't a priority.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
just about your Leicester point, Adam, if Madison's on the bench, I mean, I would never roster like Albrighton in tournaments or even some of the other guys. I mean, I'm unlikely to anyways, but like it wouldn't surprise me at all if he got subbed at half.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he has much upside either. So like cash game play, sure. And I guess he has upside for an assist. I shouldn't like necessarily say that, but those guys are not tournament plays in my opinion, over-owned for how often they would be optimal.
Any thoughts to we got Alex Iwobi, 4,300, played as kind of an attacking midfield, always seems like a guarantee for 5 points. Pablo Fornals has started a couple as well. He'd probably be in the Benrahma spot there, 4,500 home against Everton. Any thoughts to those guys? I mean, this would be the move if Albrighton's not in. You'd go here alongside Christie kind of a thing.
Well, we didn't talk about Damari Gray, and I think you throw in Iwobi in that. I don't want to play anyone on Everton. I don't care. Everton, they seem like, no, they're a bad team. They're bad. They're a really bad team. They're a really bad team. So I'm not paying 8,800 for Damari Gray as the biggest underdog on the slate. So that's why we didn't even talk about like, well, why don't you play Damari Gray instead of JWP or because I mean Gibbs White or instead of Bowen? Like, get out of here. You're nuts. But I say the same thing with the Everton player. I don't care. Right? So like, oh, Iwobi. I'll play Jacob Ramsey. I'll play anyone on any other team than play an Everton player. I mean, maybe the only viable Everton players maybe is a mid 3K like defender play, which I'm not even sure you have to do. I'd go down to 2,500 at that point. So I mean, Ryan, are you looking to play any Everton at all? I mean, I could see taking a shot on like Calvert-Lewin at 4,800 for like a goal or something, but
yeah. No, I'm not excited about it, but I'll play DCL. I'll play some DCL in tournaments. But no, I'm not excited about it. I guess it will be at 4,300. It's not the worst price. I mean, if you're comparing him to Caicedo and Jacob Ramsey and those type of guys, I mean, Iwobi he plays 90 minutes every single game. I mean, if you look at his floor, he doesn't score less than 5. I mean, so I don't mind Iwobi at that price tag. But I mean, I agree with you about not liking Everton in general.
So that means, Jordan, you're on Souček here for 3,400.
Oh, I don't mind Souček. Souček's fine. 3,400. I can do that.
Yeah,
Lallana, I know Lallana's not going to play 90, but Brighton he's the only player on Brighton that isn't priced like he's at like a luxury mall or something.
Are you eating lunch over here?
Jordan eating lunch during the pod. I mean,
do you want like a couple minute break? Me and Ryan will.
No, I'll fit it in. I'll eat there. And the more that I eat, the less that I talk, and that may be good for the show.
Okay.
Oh man.
All right. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of it for midfield. It's like all these sub 5K guys are like, yeah, we could play them. They could be fine. We got Chick-fil-A over here from Jordan.
It's a milkshake. My wife got a milkshake and fries and everything.
That sounds really good. Really good. So I guess the questions come to, if we're talking about spending up on these guys, how much of a priority is it? This is not Kieran Trippier here. How much of a priority will it be to go with Cresswell at 5,600 home against Everton? You can go with Ryan here.
I'd like to spend up at one of the defender spots. So it's somewhat of a priority. I mean, I'll spend up that lineup that I just read off. I'd spend up at both if I could, if Armstrong starts. I know it's not like as much of a priority as Trippier would be, but Cresswell's cheaper, and these are the spots you want to play Cresswell when West Ham's the biggest favorite with at least a chance for a clean sheet, and he'll probably take some sets. So, yeah, I mean, I want to get Cresswell in. I don't think it's like an absolute must, but I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, this is the only spot in which I want to play Cresswell.
Right?
Home.
It's a spot where you play Cresswell.
Right. Yeah, he just looking through his game log, it seems like, he's always around that 10-point mark in favorable matchups. And I mean, 5,600 is not that expensive when you consider.
And like if you get the scenario where it's 0-0 into the second half, or even if West Ham are losing, Cresswell is going to have a pretty good game if they're chasing the whole second half.
Yeah,
I think it's more.
Get that DCL goal.
I think it's more comparable. Cresswell is 5,600. Think to yourself, who would you rather play? Albrighton, Christie, Cresswell, and you could only pick 2 of them. I think based on the positional scarcity, I think Cresswell has to be more of a priority than Albrighton and Christie. I mean, yeah. I'm not sure about paying up twice at defender, but I think the defender position sucks pretty much. I think Cresswell, Kufal, Lodi, I think those would be the ones. I mean, yeah, Aurier is there at 5,500 or something like that. But, like, once you get around after those, like, do you really want to
Alex Moreno's in that conversation, too.
I guess
Alex Moreno's in the conversation, definitely.
Okay. But I'm saying underneath that, it's like, if you don't play those guys, it's like, do you really want to pay 4,100 for, like, Ashley Young? Do you want to pay 4,600 for KWP? Do you like it almost feels like if you don't play these guys up here that it's just like I'm going to go and play, Adam Webster, right? I'm going to go play, Lianco, or just like go down all the way down.
Are you
and make
going
sure
down
I
to
get JWP in my lineup?
Seamus Coleman, 3,300. A lot of people played him last slate. If he plays as a wing back, it seems like that's where a lot of people will be going.
Also, he won't play. If he plays as a wing back, he's only going to play like 65 minutes.
Yeah, it's fine for 3,300. I mean, he's priced for 60 minutes.
I got Adam's guy. I know what Adam's guy is going to be. The center back. It's going to be Naif Agard.
He's a good. Yeah, I mean,
The Moroccan.
I've been looking at him too. He seems like one of the best center back plays.
Back-to-back yellow cards. Yeah, why not? Let's go for it.
3K. Come on. You're the center back whisperer. You're going to either play Adam Webster because Levy Colwell ain't in. He would have been the guy.
Yeah.
3K, Naif Agard. I mean, look. I mean, if you're going to punt, look, dude. If I'm going to punt down all the way down, I'm more likely to just take a favored center back, and West Ham's the biggest favorite. Agard could get on the score sheet, but maybe, clean sheet, doesn't get a yellow card, maybe gives me 4 points, and I can fit in everything else I want.
I'm eyeing Kurt Zuma if he starts. He's 2,700. So
yeah, but isn't Ogbonna going to start?
We don't know. They've been losing. They could switch it up.
Okay.
Zuma's healthy again, though, so we'll see.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much all that. I touted Kai Walker-Peters pretty hard last week, but then he started at left back. So not really whoops. I mean, I did say on the podcast, check the formation. Yeah. You want to see if he start. I mean, especially a guy like Kyle Walker-Peters, who's so right foot dominant. Start on the left in a back four. It's going to affect his offense so much. If he were to randomly start on the wing again, I mean, for me, it'd be the second best point per dollar behind Cresswell. So just keep an eye on that.
Yeah. Goalkeeper, play whoever you want. Is that pretty safe? Whoever fits?
Well, obviously, the cheapest home dog.
Fabianski?
Right, the cheapest is Danny Ward, home goalkeeper, which means that he's going to give up 14 goals. So, why even bother?
I'd play.
Seems possible.
I would play Fabianski if I could.
You think he's worth it then at 5,400? I mean, it seems right. 38%.
Well, I don't want to play Danny Ward.
No.
I don't want to play Pickford. Oh, Pickford.
Maybe.
I mean, that's the battle of like the under fire managers. I guess you don't really know what's going to happen in that game. Pickford's. It's weird for me to say I'd play Pickford on the road over Danny Ward at home, but I don't know. Leicester is terrible as well.
Did you say last week that you're never playing Pickford?
Yeah, as a favorite. I mean,
okay.
Pickford as a favorite and chalky. I mean, please just don't do that to yourself. And look what happened.
What do we think of Bazunu here? Home against Villa. Southampton have kind of looked better. Is he worth the 4,600?
I think that's fine. Yeah, I mean, just in general, maybe people would disagree with me here, but like him and Martinez, him and Martinez. They should be the same price. I mean, that game's a pick 'em. So yeah, I don't mind Bazunu.
Yeah, the Bournemouth Nottingham Forest match has a 2.44 implied goal total, so people will probably actually just go there if they're in that range. But yeah, I'd say if you're in the range in cash games, if you have the money for Fabianski, that would obviously require you to probably go.
Yeah, it's not a priority.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind playing Bazunu or Neto or whoever. Yeah, it's not a priority.
Goalkeeper, for crying out loud. Just
would you guys
and hope for the best?
Would you rather pay for like 2 5K defenders and a cheaper goalkeeper, or like a 5K defender such as Cresswell and a 3K defender and Fabianski?
I'm not going to. I'm never going to be in this situation where I'm saving only salary for a goalkeeper. It'll be a salary for the goalkeeper and someone else in my lineup, right? So, like, no, I'm not sacrificing. I don't sacrifice crap for goalkeepers. I am playing Adam Webster just so I can get Fabianski in or something like.
Okay. Oh, you aren't, is what you said.
I'm not, right. But because you're saving so much salary on it, like to go down 2,500 in salary, like Fabianski from Pickford's only 1,300. So the other 1,200 is at least going somewhere. So that's the point that I'm making is that, like, I'm not going from like a $5,200 defender to a $4,100 defender for the sake of a goalkeeper. Like, I'm not doing that. I'll play the higher price defender.
What about like a 5K defender to a 3,700 defender? Like
Don't play a $3,700 defender. That was your fault.
You don't like Michaelenko here? 3,700?
No, I don't like Everton at all. I said before, I'm not playing any Everton players. Come on.
All right, sorry. My fault.
I think Mikalenko's fine in cash. I don't want to play Everton players either, but
or $1,000 less, you could play Adam Webster. What is there going to be that great of a difference? Probably.
I don't know. I mean, he's a $3,700 fullback that pretty much always plays 90.
Right. He's not horrible. Just that I feel
he's not horrible. I mean,
right.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think I went over this last week. Yeah, West Ham played Wolverhampton, but West Ham just haven't looked that good this season. So I know Everton are bad, but I mean West Ham are playing equally bad. So I would say that. Okay, so what do we think is going to happen in these matches? Jordan hasn't given his favorite yet, so we'll give him some time to think about that. Ryan,
my favorite what? What are my favorite?
We'll
like
get
correlation there. GPP stuff.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Ryan, so we see the odds here. You already mentioned that Aston Villa probably shouldn't be any kind of a favorite away to Southampton, which I agree with. You got to think that Brighton will probably be the most popular team in tournaments, given their history and that West Ham just haven't been that good. Their odds are pretty much the same here as West Ham. So what's the spot to attack? Are you still attacking Brighton because you don't care what the field's going to do? Or do you have ideas on any of these other matches?
Okay, yeah, well, Brighton's tough. I like Brighton. Are people going to jump on Brighton this quickly? Or is it going to take them longer to realize? I mean, are they going to want to pay these prices too? I mean, I don't know if people are necessarily going to play Brighton as the biggest favorite on the road. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, of course they will be, but I feel like ownership's just going to be sort of spread out on this slate. I think I like West Ham a little bit more than you guys, or at least, yeah. I don't like Everton or Frank Lampard, and I think West Ham are just a little bit better than they've been playing. Southampton, like I said, yeah, at home, I like that spot. I don't mind some Aston Villa guys either. I think that game could see some goals. Yeah, I don't know. Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth, for me, that's might be one to avoid. I don't know, except maybe try to get a cheap goal. I could see playing Kiefer Moore. I don't know. This is a weird slate for tournaments. I'm interested to hear Jordan's take.
If I were to attack one game, I attack the Bournemouth Nottingham Forest game.
The exact one that I said no. Yeah, right. Okay. Just because no one's going to play it, right? Because no one's going to play it.
Here's the thought process. One, West Ham popular. Okay, so I think the West Ham, they will be the most popular team on the slate. I think you're going to end up with like Brighton players being decently owned. But they'll be spread out. They'll be 16% Solly March ownership. They'll be 22% gross ownership. They'll be, McAllister will be 12%. And Matoma will be they'll be around. Not many people will have like 4 of them in a lineup or anything because you can't spend it on that. But I could see Brighton lineups existing, right? Aston Villa, Southampton, you have JWP, like JWP Armstrong plus, a Bailey Watkins type line. I could see that working, but I think if Bowen is going to be the most popular forward and people are going to jam in JWP or something, like we talked about in the very beginning, that Gibbs White may actually be lower owned than he really should be because Gross will get that ownership, Antonio will get that ownership, Bowen gets that ownership, like all these other guys get ownership. They'll still be owned. I mean, I still think MGW will be 20% owned. But like if he has a good game, it's like I like Kiefer Moore at 5K. So pairing up Kiefer Moore with maybe not even with Anthony, with Christie plus Moore. Philip Billing is there also. You could play Billing plus Moore plus MGW. Maybe you could even play Lodi in that type of lineup as well, right? You don't even have to play Brennan Johnson if you don't want to. And in those lineups, like especially if you're not playing Jaden Anthony at forward and you're playing Kiefer Moore, Christie, MGW, like you could play James Ward-Prowse in that lineup and still play Cresswell in that lineup. Like for a smaller field type of GPP, like a qualifier, I think that's fine. You're playing an under-owned MGW and you're correlating it with that game. And yes, it's the lowest total game, but it's 2.44. The highest total is what, 2.85? We're not talking about like dramatic amounts. And,
yeah, no, I see what you're saying. That
typically, a lot of times, when they open up, right? I think Brighton versus Leicester is the most likely to go over its total. The problem is that game is expensive on the Brighton side, and the Leicester pieces, most of the pieces that start aren't going to be there at the end of the game. Like Daka and like maybe Harvey Barnes. I mean, you get a lot of guys that may be out at the 70th minute mark at halftime, even that you're just sitting there going, well, yay, it was a 3-3 game, and like 5 of the goals were scored by subs.
Okay, yeah, a lot of good points, but the guys you mentioned on Brighton, I don't think they're going to be that popular. I mean, are people going to play Miedema? Are people going to play
game
Solly
log
March?
Watching Brian,
are people going to? Yeah, but are people going to pay these prices for Solly March? I mean, Morgan Gibbs
Ivan Toney is 32% owned at 17 million. So like
right,
yeah,
but he's a forward. He's a center forward that like has been scoring goals for years now. I mean, I just think Gibbs White is more expensive. I mean, he's fine, but he's going to be more owned, or at least the same as those Brighton guys. And West Ham, yeah, they're going to be popular, but it's why I look at a guy like Ben Rama who won't be as much, or a guy like Paqueta. So I might look at those teams, look at some of the guys who just won't be as popular. I do like Kiefer Moore, though. Yeah, I don't know.
I prefer Kiefer Moore over Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah, me too.
And it could always get on the Che Adams band. I play Che Adams more than anyone else.
I think you could get a pretty low owned stack in that Leicester Brighton game. If it is the most likely game to go over, and I think it is, like Harvey Barnes, for example. I mean, by the way, those of us who played Harvey Barnes got really, I would say, unlucky last week. I mean, he could have had 3 goals. I mean, he missed about 2 sitters. Yeah, I don't know. I think you can get a low owned stack in that game rather than forcing it somewhere else.
Yeah, I was going to say,
you're forcing it. I mean, any of these matchups are fine to target.
You stole my play, Ryan. Harvey Barnes is my favorite tournament play on this slate.
Love it.
Ryan, are you up money on playing Harvey Barnes or down money?
I think I have to be up because I had a few big first places. And but
he's one of those guys that we mention a lot in the past, like 2 or 3 years, where you either play him, he gets 3 points, or you play him, he gets 26 points, or he comes off at the half, or he gets injured or something. So, like, this is a very high variance player as it is.
Yeah, it is.
I think it's a great spot. People look at the odds, they see what Brighton have done, they see that Brighton just held Liverpool scoreless. They see that Leicester are pretty bad, and they are pretty bad. But you got Harvey Barnes here, and Brighton, the way they play is always open. One mistake can create a goal allowed. Their defense has actually been worse under De Zerbi. I know they're winning and look good, and they're scoring a bunch, but their defense has gotten worse under De Zerbi than it was under Graham Potter. And I just think no one's going to look at Barnes. And I think Leicester will get opportunities to score. Depends if they'll take them. I'm still trying to figure out if I actually want to play Daka or Vardy, because neither one of those guys is who I want to play. But I do like Barnes. And I will say that I think Leicester are going to score a goal.
Yeah, I'd play Vardy if he starts. I hate playing Vardy, but I'd be willing to take a chance on him here. But Barnes, yeah, I mean, I love Barnes in this spot. He's going to go 90 too. Like the only one of the Leicester guys that is going to go 90. And I mean, I don't want to jinx it, but he's their best player, most likely to score. So yeah, I like that a lot.
Then you also throw in possible Madison coming off the bench, and that just creates, more attention on Madison, and then it takes it away for Barnes. So you got to consider that as well. I mean, you can look at his recent results, and having Madison in Leicester's team changes a lot of things. But yeah, I'd be looking at Barnes. Paqueta probably won't be very expensive. We mentioned him earlier. The Southampton lineup is kind of a mess. We didn't mention Elyounoussi. He's one of those cheap midfielders. I think he's about 4,400. And
Do we
then
think people would play Leon Bailey?
Bailey.
Bailey.
I mean, they are favored, but
Bailey's been in really good form, and if you're gonna play that game, JWP or even one of the Southampton punts or Che Adams, I mean,
Bailey would probably be more popular than any of the other guys. Do you think?
okay.
Even
Yeah, no,
Watkins?
I don't know. I feel like people don't really like to play Leon Bailey like it on the road, in a spot. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah. I mean, he has a couple back-to-back good games, but
Yeah,
how much is Buendia? Buendia is 6,100, so he's a little cheaper.
that'd be fine too. He'd be less popular, right, than Bailey.
Yeah. The other mention I was going to say, just for this Bournemouth game here, I mean, with Lewis Cook out of the midfield, like if Ben Pearson starts, that's just another reason that, I don't know, you could just stack this game, go for the goals in this game. I mean, it's just a guy who they're missing Lewis Cook, who has started pretty much every match for him this season. And neither one of them have played really good defense this season. But
maybe
outside of Jaden Anthony, Bournemouth is so cheap.
Yeah.
Maybe, maybe
I like Billing too, if I'm being honest.
I said Billing before. I said outside.
Mm-hmm.
That's why do you think I'd rather play MGW on one side and like 3 Bournemouth players on the other side. And also with all these guys out for Bournemouth, it's like most of these guys are going to play they're most likely going to play 70 plus. I mean, like if they're playing well, maybe Jaden Anthony plays 90 or 86 or something, and Christie may play 85. I mean, like you may see this because they really don't have any much more guys off the bench.
So yeah, more people will play Bournemouth probably, right, than Nottingham Forest in that matchup. Just being at home and a cheaper price. Gibbs White, throw Gibbs White in there from the Forest side, but no one's going to play Brennan Johnson after his brace last week, and now he's
I called it. Don't I have to do the tout thing and say I called it?
I mean,
or you're put up like double digits, and Brennan Johnson had a brace, and I said there's the combo.
I have played a ton of Brennan Johnson. No one's going to play him in this spot. I think Forest are better than Bournemouth. I think.
You don't think anyone's going to play Brennan Johnson?
I mean, are they 7,700?
7,700.
Not he'll be single digit owned.
Yeah, I mean, for me, he's the most likely player in that game to score. I mean, maybe you could say Kiefer Moore, but yeah, I don't know. Just looking for a lower owned tournament play.
We have the $5 King of the Pitch ticket this week, and then I think there's a 150 contest as well. So, are you guys playing in both of those? Or Jordan, you want to play in the 150?
I'm just playing the 150. I don't play the $5. I play the $25, like 4 max, 130 man, but not the $5.
Is the $5 just too big of a mess?
Well, I'm building contests. I'm building lineups primarily for like 100 to 200 man type of contest.
Yeah.
So like 600 is like a slightly different type of lineup. So like I don't know. I'm late. These 10 a.m. slates, I mean, a lot of times I don't wake up until like almost 10 a.m. So now I have to set my alarm for like 8:45 in the morning.
Life of a poker pro.
To change my mindset between a 600-man contest and a 200-man contest. What do you take me for?
I mean, Adam, I'll be up at 6 o'clock ready for the Liverpool Chelsea match. So don't worry about that. And I'll put 10 or 20 in that $5 King of the Pitch as well. I mean, let me tell you, it feels really good to win a King of the Pitch ticket for $5. So yeah, I like that. I like that tournament.
Ryan's still in the middle of his complete life change where all these games are in the middle of the day, and now he has to get up at 6 a.m. to to set
Man,
lineups.
I really like it for soccer. I like just waking up and there's just immediately something to do. And then during the week, you got a game at 2 or whenever it is for you guys, afternoon game. Yeah, it's just.
Yeah. Jack Burker is getting a question here. How different is a 200 to a 600 person contest?
It's different enough.
Different enough?
I mean, a 200-person contest, I mean, a lot of times I don't care about, like, you could play a cash lineup with like a swap of like high variance forwards, or you could do like game stack. You could do like, I'm going to play 6 guys from like one game. And if that game goes 3-2, most likely you have enough points to like win a 200-man contest. 600-man is getting up there where there's going to be some random dude that's like 12% owned that scored 2 goals that I needed to have instead of a guy that has like 8 points in my lineup. Like you start getting up there into the larger field stuff. So if I'm designing lineups for like 100-man type of qualifier, like I have to do something different for a 600. I mean, it's all on a scale like that. Why do you think I don't win the large field contest, right? I always plug my lineups in, go here's the $16, wherever it ends up. Like I don't have first place finishes in the large field stuff because I don't build my lineups for those types of contests really. So like they're probably not going to come in first.
It just reminded me, you would have chopped. You probably won't even remember this. There was some random punt that started for Watford, and we made the easiest lineup ever, and you would have chopped that GPP with me, but you like didn't put your cash lineup in too.
Oh yeah, I remember the slate when my cash lineup like almost won every contest. Right? Yeah. Okay.
I think it might have been a City slate where you just stack City, and then there was a Watford punt. I don't know. Anyway.
No, I remember exactly what you're talking about, and like all the single entry GPPs I was in first place, and it's like,
yep.
What's the first place lineup in the large field that I didn't have my cash lineup in? It's like, oh, it's that lineup. It's like,
yeah, so it can happen.
Right, it can happen. You're right.
But,
or the king of the pitch year when I came in, I come in second in the king of the pitch to Saramek, and the lineup that I had in the king of the pitch would have won the large field contest.
Is that the year where KDB scored like 40-some points?
Yeah.
That was my first ever ticket to the King of the Pitch. I had one ticket, and I had been listening to some podcasts about, proper strategy, game theory type stuff. And after playing KDB basically 100% on every slate all year, I faded KDB for my first ever King of the Pitch. He just got buried when he put up 45. I definitely remember that one.
I think so. If I had to make a bet, I think someone from RotoWire, either one of us or someone from the Discord or Jack or someone, I think it's a good likelihood that I think it's possible that half the King of the Pitch entries are from people that subscribe to RotoWire and are in the RotoWire Discord.
That's amazing. I mean, it'd be great for somebody to take it down again.
Yeah, we just had someone who subscribed over the World Cup, got a King of the Pitch ticket the day after he subscribed, and then he joined our Discord, I think on Wednesday, and then yesterday he got the King of the Pitch ticket in the showdown. So there's plenty of subscribers that are getting tickets. I'll be getting a ticket tomorrow. I'm building my lineup right now. I got Brennan Johnson and Harvey Barnes in, and I'm going to work around those guys.
Naif Agard, right? Naif Agard. You got to put him in. Am I even pronouncing his name right? I have no idea.
But who knows?
Jordan, are Chick-fil-A fries the best fast food fry?
No,
you're talking about the waffle fries?
Nathan.
Yeah.
Nathan's don't have fries. Nathan's have almost like potato. Like it's a different type.
I've never had that
potato-y fry.
Wait, what is Nathan's?
Nathan's hot dogs.
Nathan's
you never heard of Nathan's hot? They have a hot dog eating contest on July.
Yeah, okay. That Nathan's. Got it.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I didn't know it was a place you could go for fast food. I didn't know either.
Yeah, it's a fast food place. Yeah. Nathan's hot dogs.
Okay.
Where the hell do you live? There has to be a Nathan's if you're in a major metropolitan area.
Not in Wisconsin.
Not in Michigan.
Get out of Wisconsin. What are you doing?
No, we got Coney dogs here. We don't got Nathan's.
We got like A&W's here. That's the only place I could think of that you could get a hot dog from. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess Culver's probably doesn't have hot dogs. All right, that's enough. RotoWire.com/soccer trial, free 2-day trial. You can get this cheat sheet And you'll probably get a King of the Pitch ticket after you subscribe. Then you can get into their Discord, rotowire.com/chat to get into that Discord. You can find Jordan at Blender HD. You can see all of his poker stacks as he piles those up. Ryan is at Ryan Belongia. I am at Zdroik. Good luck on the slate. We got 2 tickets up for grabs tomorrow. I'm sure someone will get one in the RotoWire circle. Maybe it'll be us. Maybe it won't be. But I won't be in the 150, though. So good luck to you guys in the 150. But yeah, good luck, everyone. And FA Cup next week. So we'll be back in a couple weeks.
Thanks, guys. Good luck, everyone.